She is a digital marketing specialist who can spin the meanest website around.
And he's host of the TV show Buzz, which features nonprofit organizations receiving marketing makeovers.
Here on Buzz for Good, we talk all things nonprofit, the people they serve and the good they do.
And we talk to creative professionals and provide marketing tips and tools to help your nonprofit achieve more.
That's right.
Buzz!
And greetings, everyone, and welcome to Buzz for Good, our radio and TV show simulcast we air in partnership with our friends at Blue Ridge PBS and WFIR. I am Michael Hemphill, creator and host of the TV show Buzz, in which we feature nonprofit organizations, the great work that they do in our communities, and we provide them with marketing tips and tools to help them attract more donors, volunteers, and clients to their cause. In short, to give them more buzz. And when I think buzz, I think of bees. And when I think of bees, I think of the queen bee of marketing herself, Carrie Cousins, the president of the American Advertising Federation of Roanoke.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Buzz.
All right, awesome. And so we've got a lovely show today that we are theming around Earth Day, which technically was yesterday, but there are activities and events throughout this weekend throughout our region. I know the Grandin Village had a lovely Earth Day celebration today. We are going to be featuring a variety of nonprofits that are involved with outdoors and environmental education, such as the New River Land Trust, Clean Valley Council, and LEAP. And we're also going to feature a for-profit business that is supporting Earth Day and having a special dedicated fundraiser throughout the month of April in support of a nonprofit, outdoors nonprofit. So in addition to that, Carrie, what do you got for us?
Well, you know, Earth Day is important to me too. I like to recycle and pay attention all year long. And one of the organizations that's special to my heart with Earth Day is the Roanoke Outside Foundation and the work they do year round for education for the outdoors as well as conservation. So the Roanoke Outside Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit independent organization that works in collaboration with the Roanoke Regional Partnership, which is the economic driver for the region.
Okay. And their signature events throughout the year are?
The Blue Ridge Marathon, which just happened last week, the Go Outside Festival, and the Go Cross Cyclocross race. So there are plenty of outdoor events, and all of those events usually have some sort of sustainable function. Think about Go Fest. When you get a cup at Go Fest, it's not paper. It's a metal cup that you use and reuse over and over and over again.
Okay.
When you're at the marathon, all of the trash bins have recycling bins next to them, and you're looking to either put your recyclables in a bin or your compost in a bin. So it really is a key component of that organization to make sure that we're all operating with the cleanest footprint possible.
Love it. Okay. And I believe your no budget marketing minutes later on in the show is also going to revolve around
a little bit of green activity that a nonprofit can participate in.
Wonderful. All right. We'll look forward to that. My favorite part of the show always. If you want to stay connected with Buzz for Good throughout the week, go to buzzforgood.com. That's buzz, B-U-Z-Z, 4, good.com. There you can listen to previous episodes of our radio show through the podcast page. You can also find some of our previous TV episodes that have aired on Blue Ridge PBS under the episodes page and kind of be better connected with all these wonderful nonprofits in our region. I want to thank sponsors of this show, Partners in Financial Planning, a Southwest Virginia-based financial management firm, partnersinfinancialplanning.com, and Freedom First Credit Union, where people bank for good. And they are, find out more at freedomfirst.com. Now, our part of the show where we kind of take a look at what all we've been doing in the nonprofit space over the last week. The last time that you and I spoke on this show, you were getting ready for the Blue Ridge Marathon, which took place April 16th. How'd it go?
I finished.
Oh, okay.
I will take that as a win every day. I completed the half marathon, which was fantastic. That's running 2 of 3 mountains. And I tried to stick around as long as possible to watch my fellow marathoners and double marathoners cross the finish line.
Wait, double marathoners?
Some people do it twice.
That's crazy. That is just crazy. That is crazy. Okay. But you were there and you did your half marathon. Congratulations.
Thank
well done.
you.
I hope you ran a few miles from me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They were all yours.
Good, good. How many people were in the race?
There were about 3,000 registered runners this weekend, and the weather was fabulous.
Yep.
It was the perfect day for a run through the mountains. It was cool in the morning, not a lot of sunlight. It really was a phenomenal day and a phenomenal event. Being back at Elmwood Park at the Finish Festival and seeing so many happy, smiling people, even after they ran a 10K or a half marathon or a marathon or a double marathon. Everybody was smiling and happy, and just, it was great to see that community get together again.
Awesome. Well, I was so proud of our region. Unfortunately, I had to be out of town for a daughter's basketball tournament on Saturday. But I was really envious of those who were able to participate because it just looked spectacular and really showcased our region beautifully.
Yeah, it's a great showcase for people coming into this region, like what we're about and who we are.
Right. So you did Blue Ridge Marathon last weekend. The big event for me this week was Give Roanoke Day on Wednesday, April 20th. And boy, this was the first time that the Council of Community Services had hosted such an event. They weren't sure what to expect. They ended up just blowing past all of their expectations. They originally were hoping that 50 nonprofits would participate in this 24-hour online fundraising event / competition, if you will, called Give Roanoke. Instead, they had 105 different organizations receiving funding. They had hoped, I think, to raise about $100,000 over the course of the day. They blew past that goal, I want to say, like by 9 a.m.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And they ended up raising a grand total of, drumroll please, $307,337 from just over 2,000 different donors for 105 different organizations.
And my name is somewhere on that list as a supporter of multiple organizations throughout the day, because I feel like these days are not just made for supporting an organization you normally support, but even if you can just give $20 or $25 to a couple of different groups, it really can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Are you comfortable sharing any that you want to mention?
Well, one that's close to my heart, thanks to Buzz, is Southwest Virginia Ballet. So they got a little boost. Good. And Angels of Assisi. You know, you got to love the puppies, right?
You do love your dogs. Yeah, so I actually got to visit both of those locations because we are producing a Buzz TV show episode on Council of Community Services and their work trying to kickstart Give Roanoke Day. And so we went by Angels of Assisi, and we were there, and we got to see Luna, the rescue dog. That was just a wonderful story that she has to tell. You can find out more about them on the Angels of Assisi website. From there, we went to the Roanoke Valley SPCA. More animals.
Also, another dog-friendly location.
Yes, love visiting with them. We went to the Boys and Girls Club of Southwest Virginia. We went by Council Community Services to check in to see how they were holding up. Poor Allison Jorgensen, who ran this whole event, she said she had been up since 3 o'clock in the morning, already starting to navigate the day, and she was probably going to be up after midnight, just to see what the final results were. And all of
our nonprofit friends listening right now understand that story from any event that they've put on.
Yes. And, I'm sure a lot of the nonprofits that were trying to raise money over the course of the day, they were up at midnight trying to make sure that all of their donations that had been preloaded into the website were hitting. And I'm sure they were up until midnight to see which one won. Southwest Virginia Ballet ended up doing just super on the day. They did a Facebook Live 2-hour presentation performance event that evening, and I think they raised over $8,000 over the course of the day.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So it was great. So that was wonderful. Thrilled for them. And so kudos to Council of Community Services and Give Roanoke. You can still go to giveroanoke.org to see all the result totals and all the nonprofits that participated and see how they did. And they are still accepting money. It's not like they just needed money one day of the year. All of those organizations are there and relying on donations to do the great work that they do. So please check them out, find out more about their missions, and hopefully find ways that you can support them either with your money or with your time or your talent. So There we are. Now we're going to transition into Earth Day, which technically happens on April the 22nd, which would have been Friday. Of course, we're broadcasting this show on Saturday, April 23rd, but still a lot of Earth Day things happening today. And to kick things off, I'm going to have an interview that I conducted earlier this week with John Eustace. He is the longtime executive director of the New River Land Trust. And so I will let him take it from here and talk about the great work that they do throughout the New River Valley, past, present, and future. John Eustace, Executive Director of the New River Land Trust, welcome to Buzz for Good.
Well, Michael, thank you very much for having me and, having a bit of the program about the New River Land Trust.
Absolutely. Well, this is the month of Earth Day, and so wanted to certainly feature New River Land Trust because I've been fortunate to be part of the Land Trust over the years, and just want to give you the opportunity to kind of share what is the New River Land Trust.
The New River Land Trust is a land conservation organization. We are nationally accredited, and essentially that means that we work to help people in the New River region conserve natural and cultural resources. And there's a variety of ways we do that. Traditionally, a lot of the work has been legal protection for private landowners who are interested, and that has come in the form of conservation easements. But increasingly, we've been working on fee simple purchase projects, purchasing high conservation value land, and then turning it into a public space so people can get out and enjoy the beautiful landscape of the region. And we're also doing a lot of restoration work these days. So a lot of times that is either wildlife habitat related or water quality, aquatic sort of habitat related projects.
Okay. Well, let's take that kind of one piece at a time there and briefly talk about what is a conservation easement.
So a conservation easement is a permanent legal protection. It's a legal document, a conservation easement deed or an open space easement deed, where a landowner who is interested in keeping their property in a rural state enters into a legal relationship with a conservation entity. Could be the New River Land Trust, or particularly historically in many cases, it would be a state entity, and they legally restrict the property in perpetuity in the future to protect the conservation values that are there and make sure that property is then available in the future for traditional rural uses, whether that's farming or forestry, but it also could just be the value ecosystem services of open natural space.
And in exchange for that, the landowner receives some kind of financial benefit through tax credits.
Yep, we're really fortunate here in Virginia to always have had pretty strong support for conservation. And one of the main pieces of that is a state tax credit incentive for people who do conservation easements. There's also a federal income tax deduction, and there can be implications for your property taxes depending on where you live. And for people who have a little higher worth, it can have a state tax implications.
Excellent. So how many acres, can you quantify how many acres that have been placed under conservation easement in the course of New River Land Trust's history?
Well, including fee simple, so not just conservation easements, it is 56,700 acres.
Wow. So, and that land preserved in perpetuity in its rural state, so not going to be developed into subdivisions or in any kind of commercial development. It will maintain that natural character and beauty forever.
Yeah, but can only have any sort of commercial use that is associated with, again, traditional rural uses.
Okay.
So you could have a farm stand, or you could you could harvest, timber off your property and have a wood shop, where you build something, those sorts of things.
All right. And you were also talking about how the Land Trust has recently been involved with some land purchases of some, natural assets. Talk about that.
Well, a conservation easement isn't always the best fit for everybody. You have landowners out there for various reasons who, don't want to continue to own their land and just lock it up with the easement. Excuse me. And so in some cases, they are looking for someone to come in and purchase the land, but they have a strong conservation ethic. And so they don't want to see it purchased by a developer who's going to put a bunch of houses on it. But they need to get out of the property. So fortunately, we've had access to some grant funding from various sources, and we have purchased recently 3 properties on Brush Mountain, just outside of Blacksburg, that has really high conservation value. And we are purchasing that land. We are building some natural surface, essentially dirt, other natural sort of substances, the local rock, trails on those properties. And once the trail systems are open and ready, we give the land to the town of Blacksburg, and it becomes a town park.
Wow.
But the town does have to have a conservation easement on that property so that it locks their hands. Their hands are tied, I should say.
Sure.
So they can't ever decide, we don't want to have a park anymore. We're going to sell it to a developer, and they're going to build a bunch of houses. So the properties are permanently protected, but also that public access piece is really important.
And how big of a piece of property is that Brush Mountain?
Well, there's 3 properties.
Okay.
One was 334 acres. The second one is 219, and the third property is 205 acres.
Exceptional. So, my rough calculations, that's like close to 800 acres. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Yep.
So somewhere in there, 700, 800 acres, and that land, after the trails have been established, will be given with a conservation easement to the town of Blacksburg for its, the use of citizens throughout.
Yep, it is. And now a little bit of the land, some of it is going to go to the National Forest.
Okay.
Some of one of those properties, actually 2 of them, lay on the north side of the mountain, which is mainly National Forest land. And so what made better sense was for any acres on the north side to be donated to the National Forest for their management, and then everything on the south side would go to the town of Blacksburg. And there will be linkages to those properties and the individual trail systems on those properties from the town, including the Huckleberry Trail Greenway that goes from Blacksburg to Christiansburg.
Bravo. Well, in our last 30 seconds here, is there some major, piece or project that you guys are working on that you want people to know about right now?
Well, then that's an ongoing project, so that would really be the main thing.
Yeah.
It's that, and then our water quality, sort of stream restoration projects on the Roanoke River, sort of headwaters of the Roanoke River. We're doing some projects in the North Fork of the Roanoke River, and we've got a project lined up for the South Fork starting in the fall.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Well, if people want to connect more with you guys, where would they go?
Well, I would encourage them to go to our website. We also have a Facebook page, and we have some really great videos about some of our really exciting projects. We have a YouTube channel also.
Okay. And your website is?
It's www.newriverlandtrust.org.
Awesome. John, thank you so much for your time. Happy Earth Day, and we'll look forward to connecting with you later on in the year.
All right, thank you so much. You take care, and happy Earth Day to everybody.
Now, from the New River Valley, we head over to the Roanoke Valley and have a conversation with the marketing director of LEAP, Christina Nifong. All right, it is my pleasure to welcome to Buzz for Good my good friend Christina Nifong with LEAP. And to get started, Christina, how about you just tell us what LEAP is an acronym for?
Sure. LEAP stands for Local Environmental Agriculture Project. And it was founded in 2009 as a nonprofit that supported a farmers market in Grandin Village.
Okay.
We do a lot more than that now, but that's where it started.
Okay. Lovely. Well, I certainly like LEAP better than Local Environmental Agricultural Project, even though I know that, doesn't define what you do, but the word LEAP, the acronym, is lovely.
Yes, well, and, even the slightly unwieldy name, it does touch on all the things that are pretty important to us with local and then sustainable and then farming. So it really does hit all the highlights of what we do.
Well, so rewind to your founding. What was the inspiration for the organization?
So in 2009, if you'll remember, there was a big push to really support and appreciate farms that were growing food and not shipping it across the country, or it wasn't coming from around the world. It was sort of the very beginnings of the local food movement. And it grew out of the co-op, the Roanoke Co-op. So there's a group of local food eaters who wanted to start a farmers market that really prioritized sustainable growing, organic practices, and local farms.
Okay.
Which, even though the downtown market in Roanoke is wonderful and has a great history, some of those sustainable growing practices and a focus on local farmers and producers, wasn't always the top priority for them. So it was a different kind of farmers market, and it still is today.
Cool. And so, I know that it's located behind the co-op, but I didn't realize that the co-op had been kind of an active organizer of it back in the day.
Yep. They're still a sponsor of us, and, some of their board members are also our board members. So there's a very close connection between the co-op and LEAP. Yes.
How lovely. All right. So so the farmers market was started, and what came next?
So those same people who are very concerned about growing practices and local farms also wanted to make sure that it wasn't just affluent neighborhoods and people with means who were able to access local food.
Yeah.
So they opened a second farmers market in the West End neighborhood, and the focus of that market was to make sure that places that didn't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables would have a market in their neighborhood that people could walk to. They could pick their kids up at the West End Center and stop by and grab some, fresh carrots and lettuce and take them home for dinner. So the West End Farmers Market was our second, our next step. And then pretty closely after that, we started a mobile market. And so the mobile market is, I say it all the time, this is the heart of what we do, because it purchases produce from local farmers, and it puts it on like a little food truck, and it drives it into food insecure neighborhoods. And so people who receive SNAP benefits, they're on Medicaid and WIC, they are able to just, walk outside their senior housing facility or their bus stop, or again, their Head Start center where they're picking up their kids. And they're right, couldn't be more convenient. There is fresh local food.
I was just going to ask about that. So, the accessibility is one thing, but then the affordability is another. But they can actually use, federal, state, SNAP credits, et cetera, in order to purchase this food.
Yes, and LEAP even takes it a step farther than that. So LEAP is the fiscal agent for a statewide network called Virginia Fresh Match. And Virginia Fresh Match takes allows people who use SNAP benefits to double their food dollars. So you can, even more than just running your SNAP card and using your SNAP benefits to buy the fresh fruits and vegetables, SNAP recipients can get $1 in fresh produce for every dollar they spend of their SNAP benefits. So it doubles their food dollars. And LEAP also fundraises in order to do that same doubling with Medicaid recipients and WIC families, and even some other folks who've been identified by local agencies as in need of nutrition support, because the SNAP benefits sometimes are really restrictive, and there are definitely families who are not on SNAP who still could benefit from having their food dollars doubled.
Fantastic! Wow. I got to work with you a little bit for a LEAP video that was produced a few months ago, and during that process, we got to meet Cam Terry. I believe that was his name, correct? So
yep.
With
Cameron Terry.
Cameron Terry. So he's an urban farmer. I'd never heard that term before, an urban farmer. But what a fascinating guy he was. I mean, he basically at the time either from his own backyard and also rented out like 3 or 4 other backyards throughout Roanoke, their land that he could then raise fruits and vegetables that in these small little like 1/10 of an acre lots, and then sold at the market. So I mean, it was really cool meeting him, as opposed to just thinking you have to have a lot of land in order to have a farm. I mean, there he is, just growing them in people's backyards and making a sustainable living out of it. But recently I saw that he now is going to have access to a much bigger piece of property that I believe you guys helped navigate.
Yes. He will be growing at Lick Run Farm as in part LEAP. It was a recipient of some ARPA money from the city, federal money that was distributed through the city of Roanoke, and as part of those ARPA dollars.
And by ARPA, you mean
supported Cam's
American Rescue Plan Act money, right?
Yes.
ARPA. Okay.
Yes. And what's really kind of special, so Cam worked with the Agrarian Commons, which is a national organization that finds land, often that has been farmed in the past or is suitable for farming, and they put it in a collective trust and then are in relationship with farmers to farm that land. So they are preserving farmland, and they are working toward a different model. So the idea is that the farmland is owned by the community as opposed to a single private owner. So Cam's farm that he is going to be growing on is actually owned by the Agrarian Commons. So it's an amazing story because he's such a creative and resourceful guy, and then he also is sort of modeling a whole new way of farming and land holding for our region. Yeah,
he was wonderful, just delightful. So anyone tuning into this show, I would encourage just going to the Grand Market to meet and talk with him alone, because whether you buy any fruits or vegetables, he was fascinating.
Yes, and I will. So it's Garden Variety Harvest.
Yes,
that is the name of his business and his farm.
Garden.
If you're at the market, that's who to look for.
Thank you.
Garden Variety Harvest.
Garden Variety Harvest. Right. Speaking of gardens, LEAP also manages. Am I correct?
Yes, we have 4 community gardens that we manage, and actually recently we are working on a really fun initiative where our community gardens are meeting with and working together with community gardens all over the city to form a Roanoke Community Gardens network, who are meeting, and they're working to share volunteers and share tools and share education. The Roanoke Master Gardeners is involved. So it's really a lovely ripple effect of I was in a Zoom meeting this morning in which someone said 1 + 1 = 4. So that's what the idea is that, people get together and the sum of their collaboration is much greater than the individual parties involved.
That's right. All right. And then I believe the last piece of the LEAP puzzle is the community kitchen.
Yes. At our West End Farmers Market location, we also have a shared kitchen where we think of it as a business incubator. So where people who would like to start a food business can work. They rent a time and a membership in this kitchen that is completely licensed by the state, and so everything they need in order to produce a food product is ready to go. There's a hot kitchen and a baking kitchen, and it's actually run by Jeff Bland, who a lot of people in Roanoke know. He's an accomplished chef who's worked in a lot of different kitchens, but he is there also to mentor folks and and help people who are starting food businesses get their business off the ground.
Man, outstanding. I mean, you guys just have your tentacles, your roots, if you will, in so many different areas of the food system. So thank you for sharing. Now, if people want to find out more about LEAP, where do they go?
You can look at a beautiful new website that has the video that Michael helped work on at leapforlocalfood.org.
Okay.
And I will just say a quick note that the Grandin Village Farmers Market runs from 8 in the morning till noon in the parking lot behind the Roanoke Co-op. Our first opening day weekend for the main season was last weekend, so we will be there every Saturday morning until November 19th.
Mm-hmm. Depending on when you tune into this show, the Earth Day celebration at Grandin Village may have already happened. But in some respects, LEAP is providing an Earth Day every Saturday at the Grandin Market. And so I would encourage everyone to come down on Saturdays to the Grandin Village and check out the great work that LEAP is doing through the Grandin Market, and find out more then about all the other work that they're doing throughout the Roanoke Valley. So, Christina, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with your Earth Day celebration and this season at the Farmers Market.
Thank you, Michael, so much. It's been great to talk about LEAP.
Wonderful. Now we're going to switch focus a little bit from the nonprofits and the work that they are doing to the for-profit businesses that are supporting these nonprofits. I recently got connected with Southwest Native, a boutique in downtown Roanoke that is doing some great work in support of the nonprofit organizations, especially this month in celebration of Earth Day, helping out Friends of the Blue Ridge. And here's my conversation with the owner. Sierra Sala,
yes,
owner of Southwest Native.
Yes.
Thanks so much for being on the show.
Yes, thanks for having me, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to get to kind of why you are part of our Earth Day broadcast here.
Okay.
But let's rewind a little bit. Tell us about yourself.
Yes, so my name is Sierra Sala. I am quite literally a Southwest native from Southwest Virginia. I am born and bred from Salem, so just up the way from my store now. The store is located downtown Roanoke, actually in Southwest Roanoke. So,
very good.
Yeah,
the Southwest, we're not talking about Southwestern United States.
Correct.
We're not talking about Arizona, Utah. We're talking
Correct.
about Southwest Virginia.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool.
And it worked out that I'm in Southwest Roanoke as well, so it's
Right.
bonus. It's meant to be.
Yeah, so if people want to find you, where are you located in Roanoke?
So I am downtown. I tell people I'm like hammocked between the Mash General Store and Breadcraft. So
Nice.
on Church Avenue. Yes.
Okay, cool. And this, I love the space here. I've been in here
Yes.
many times for different businesses. What's the name of the building?
The name of the building is Crafteria. So it was basically in the 50s, 60s, 70s. It is this fancy cafeteria. I want to say like a fancier version of K&W, basically.
Is there such a thing? A fancier version
right,
of K&W?
Right. But yeah, so people would wear gloves and these extravagant outfits. So it was very fancy. Can you say hello?
Hello.
This is my daughter. She is 7 years old. She's also a Southwest native.
Excellent.
Can you say hi?
Hi, it's nice to meet you. So I'm just talking to your mom here about her business.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what is Southwest Native?
It's a girls' accessory shop, and it's only for girls.
Say that one more time.
It's only for girls.
It's a girls' accessory shop?
Yeah.
Okay. You do a good job. You're a good salesperson.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I like she said, I originally started just solely focusing on jewelry. I launched this past November, so on Cyber Monday, I launched online only. And I did quite a few festivals in December. I had, really great feedback. And I was like, if I ever get a storefront, I'd want to expand into different accessories. And the storefront fell into my lap, the opportunity in January. So I took it. And as customers have come in and I've gotten more feedback, the accessories expanded into women's apparel. And so now it's really turning into like a full scale boutique. So it's been great, just the growth and getting different feedback from people.
Awesome. Well, talk about what is here. So girls' accessories. So what does that mean?
So different women's accessories. So accessories meaning shoes, handbags, belts. We have a lot of hats. Those are kind of in right now. And then the
There's
jewelry.
a lot of dresses.
A lot of dresses.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you.
My mom loves dresses.
Yeah.
Yes. And sunglasses are a big hit, especially with warmer weather coming up.
And there's shirts, like a tank top, shirts, bottles, plants.
Yes.
Like, no one can sell them. That's just
So the jewelry that I have, I'm really trying to focus on only local handmade artists.
Okay.
So the jewelry I have in shop right now is from, one of them is Amber Hale, and the other one is Michelle Potter. So Amber Hale, she solely focuses on like clay and resin. So all of her earrings have either clay or the resin mold. And then the other one is Michelle Potter. She just moved back from Puerto Rico. So she has a lot of interesting ways that she's incorporated nature, earth, and everything into her jewelry. So I really, really like that. So she has feathers are her big thing, which I absolutely love.
Okay.
Yes. So once her birds, she has 2 parrots, and once they molt, she takes their feathers, she has her whole process behind it, and she incorporates them into her jewelry pieces, which is really, really cool and unique. So I always tell people the feathers that you see in here, they are real feathers from her parrot, and then I always like to show them the parrot's Instagram because we think it's so cool.
How cool is that?
Yes.
Well, you also have something in your business called Cause and Effect.
Yes.
What's that?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm going to find out.
So cause and effect at the beginning of January, really the beginning of the year, I started brainstorming at the end of last year. I wanted a way to get to know different organizations locally that make an impact in a way outside of the ones that come up the most, the ones that are, donated to the most, the ones that come up in the news the most. I wanted others that not a lot of people know about or have a smaller following. So I decided to look at different local organizations here in downtown Roanoke, since that's where my business is. And I found a ton. And they were literally within walking distance, so it was great. So for January, we had Angels of Assisi's, which was awesome. February, we had the Blue Ridge Literacy Center, which is located right below the main library. March, we had Blue Ridge Women's Center, so they are actually not downtown, but still within, 5 to 10 minutes from here.
Right.
And then for April, we have Friends of the Blue Ridge. So I've partnered together with Julie. We were able to chat. I think she came in one morning. We probably talked for over an hour. Just about all of the different things that Friends of the Blue Ridge does, not only for our community, but their reach is so far. And I think people a lot of times forget that. So it was just really, really neat.
Well, so I do a little work for Friends of the Blue Ridge, so thank you for doing that.
Yes.
And I've also, we've done a Buzz episode on Blue Ridge Women's Center.
Cool.
I've written an article for Cardinal News about Blue Ridge literacy. And
awesome.
Who was the January?
Angels of Assisi.
Angels of Assisi. We were just there yesterday for
great.
Give Roanoke Day. So yeah, all great organizations. And for Friends of the Blue Ridge, you decided to do it in April because of Earth Day.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So I am trying to do a better job each month. There's, whether it's an event, a celebration, a day that's honoring something or someone, I'm trying to incorporate that into the organization. I've noticed with the days and things that we have in each month, there is most likely an organization in this area that focuses around that day,
right.
Which is really cool because it's right here, and maybe we don't even know about it. Mm-hmm. So Friends of the Blue Ridge, when I was doing different searches, I had heard of it. I'm very familiar with it. I know it was just right up the road from the YMCA, their main location. But again, I didn't really realize their impact. I assumed Friends of the Blue Ridge, they primarily focused on, recycling efforts and, cleaning our local parks, and that was pretty much it.
Right.
That's all I assumed. So yeah, talking to Julie, I was writing, and at one point she said, "Do you want me to just email you because you were writing so much? Does your hand hurt?" And I'm like, "No, this is all great feedback." So,
yeah. Well, you have a lovely little write-up about Friends of the Blue Ridge and each of these nonprofits on your website, which is, for everyone,
shopsouthwestnative.com.
Shopsouthwestnative.com. Great. So tell us about the deal that you're offering for people to support Friends of the Blue Ridge in the month of April.
Absolutely. So Michelle Potter, who I just mentioned previously, she has designed a piece. It is a necklace that we went with, so everyone is able to purchase it. We had brainstormed some earrings. We wanted to incorporate the feathers, but Julie pointed out, she said, well, not everyone has their ears pierced, so let's go a different route.
True.
So we have a beautiful, beautiful necklace, and it's a frosted amethyst necklace. And each necklace is $15. It's free shipping if you purchase it online. You're also welcome to pick up in store. And then $10 of that sale from the necklace will go to Friends of the Blue Ridge.
Wow.
And then $5 goes to the artist for creating the piece. So
you're not making any money off of
no,
this?
not at all. Not at all. But it's a great way to get different organizations connected, organizations out there. What I've found in a lot of them so far is that I have people that have purchased either in January and February for another organization. They're kind of following the cause and effect, and then they're like, wow, that's so cool. I didn't know about that. That's where. And then they'll purchase, this piece. I've had that several times actually this month. So very exciting.
How cool is that?
Yes.
What does May look like? Have you picked out your nonprofit yet?
I have. I am very, very excited.
Okay.
So May 5th is Cinco de Mayo.
Indeed.
And we are going to partner with Casa Latina.
Oh,
and so,
excellent.
Yes, I am so super excited. I spoke with their president, Chris, and it's really, really exciting. We have a lot of fun things planned. So,
okay.
Yes.
Well, Sierra, thank you so much for all that you do to support nonprofits in the region.
Yes,
Love your shop. I hope everyone tuning in will want to come and visit you here. Give us the address.
It is 16 West Church Avenue. As soon as you walk in the door, I'm to the right. You can't miss me.
Wonderful. So yeah, there are a lot of different shops and coffee shops and restaurants in this old cafeteria.
Exactly.
It's a lovely space. But yeah, she is the first door on your right, Southwest Native. Thank you for supporting nonprofits. One more time, your website is?
shopsouthwestnative.com.
And you're on social media as well?
Yes, my social media is actually at Shop Southwest Native.
Love it. Well, Sierra, thank you so much again.
Yes, thank you so much, Michael.
And last but certainly not least, a nonprofit that is near and dear to all of our hearts when it comes to environmental conservation, and that is the Clean Valley Council. All right, well, welcome Dina Sasser of Clean Valley Council to Buzz for Good. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people probably have heard something about Clean Valley Council over the years, but why don't you give us kind of the elevator pitch for what is Clean Valley Council?
Oh, sure. We have been around since 1978, so you're probably right on that. We started out as an organization that was dedicated towards getting people to start recycling and taking better care of the types of trash that they were creating. And then we've evolved from that to environmental stewardship and leading the way towards a sustainable tomorrow by educating and inspiring. So what we do beyond and just, getting people to recycle is we also get people to go out and clean up litter. And that's one of our big mission focuses, is that we'll ask folks to take some time out of their day and get a trash bag and clean up litter that they see in their community. We provide all those supplies, so a clean litter grabber, trash bags, gloves, and if you are part of our Adopt a Street program, we also provide vests. And all we ask for is time and data. So when the cleanup is done, if people let us know what they found, how much they found, we'll make sure someone comes and cleans that up. But it also gives us information to report to the people who give us our funding, so that we can in turn get more supplies. So it keeps that going there. So that's one of our focuses. And the other is education, and education beyond just elementary or school age, but all ages. So we send people out to schools with different environmental projects, and we also do community engagement education. One of our programs that just started right now this week is the ABCs of composting, and we have 40 participants who are learning how to do backyard composting and try to divert some of that trash, the food waste, out of the trash streams and into usable compost for their yards.
Wonderful. So you mentioned that you're reporting this information out to the people who provide your funding. Who does provide your funding?
Well, it's a mix of different locations. We have city and county governments, and we also have the Department of Environmental Quality. And then sometimes it's just anybody who has a chance to send us a few dollars. Every little bit helps. We have donors that give us money throughout the year, and then contracts with the different municipalities.
Well, which municipalities do you work with? Like, what is your footprint?
We are city and county of Roanoke, town of Vinton, city of Salem, Botetourt County, and even up to Rockbridge.
Okay. All right. So the valley is bigger than just the Roanoke Valley. It extends.
Is. Yes, it is.
Okay. Wonderful. What are been some of the successes over your, 44-year history?
Yeah, that's hard to imagine. I would think anytime we get out there and get trash out of our watershed, that's a huge success, because we work really strongly with stormwater, and a lot of people don't think about the things that end up on the ground don't stay there.
Right.
They wash into the storm drains and into our rivers and our oceans. They pollute not just the water itself, but also the animals. And so every little bit that we can get out of that water stream makes a huge difference to everybody's health, not just a very small finite group, but we all depend on water. No matter who you are, no matter how small or large you are, water is life. Yep. You have to have a good, clean water.
I think about, just every time I fill up my car with gas, every little drop that maybe escapes from the nozzle hits the asphalt could end up in our waterways. What are some other things that we as just, common citizens need to be aware of to maintain clean water?
Just properly disposing of your trash, especially the hardest one that I think a lot of people don't understand. Cigarette butts are the number one piece of littered paraphernalia anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. That is number one. And they're so small, so people don't think of it that way. But they also think that they're made of paper and maybe cotton, but they are plastic. Those filters that are inside cigarettes, those are plastic. So that is just more plastic going into our rivers and our oceans. Some of the animals mistake them for food. And so that's also true with plastic bags, like grocery bags. So here, there's been a real incentive to bring your own grocery bags, reusable bags. My trunk is full of them. And that takes that plastic out of the stream, so you don't get animals thinking that the bags are maybe jellyfish and trying to eat them. Or you get the straws, trying to say no to a straw if you can. That keeps them out of the turtles. There's a lot of little things we can do. Refill your water bottles. Water bottles are the biggest plastic bottle that is thrown out. And so I'm looking right at my corksicle, if you will, that I keep with me, and I can refill it every day. And you just, if you have a Brita pitcher or whatever you need to use at home, but that takes all those water bottles out of the stream. Yeah, right.
What are some other, things that, so we as common citizens, not only related to water, but, other things that perhaps we don't think about enough?
Well, recycling in general.
Sure.
I think there's a lot of confusion with folks not knowing exactly what can I recycle, what can't I recycle. If you've moved around like I have, every municipality can be a little bit different. So some of the rules are different. Some places will take glass, some places will not. And so there's a lot of confusion that comes with recycling. And here in Roanoke, they recycle 1 and 2 plastics, but they can't do the little clamshell type, like you get strawberries in.
Mm-hmm.
They're so light that their machinery can't weed those out. So that's one of those where, unfortunately, those can't be recycled, but you can recycle metals. You can recycle, like I said, numbers 1 and 2 plastic. Let's see, glass. They are still taking glass, and it's just trying to be conscious of what it is you're throwing away. And if you can recycle it, do so.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. So those have been some of your successes. Any other successes that, looking back over 44 years that you're especially proud of or the organization is proud of?
I think it's just the environmental awareness, people being more keenly aware of what it is our environment needs from us as citizens of the world. We need to be able to be the change. You have to be conscious about how you consume and know that every little bit helps. And I think that especially with our education programs, when we reach people who are young and they start understanding, I know for me, I always want to know why. It made my mother crazy when I was a child, but I always wanted to know the reason why something needs to be done.
Sure. If
I know why, then I'm all about it. But if we let these kids especially know why it's important,
right,
why we throw things away the way we're supposed to, why is it terrible to throw things on the ground and to litter, and why and how that affects you as a person, then it makes a big difference, because then the kids start to pay more attention, and then hopefully they take that home to their parents and say, no, you can't throw those out the door. We need to throw those away. Those are plastic and the animals are eating them. And that can kind of help. You educate sometimes from the youngest to the oldest.
Right. Oh, and sometimes even from the oldest to the youngest, when, the why, it's not just because I told you so, but actually having that information to back it up to help better educate and explain to kids. Yeah.
Because when has I told you so ever worked?
Right. Regardless of the age. Yeah.
It's always if you do this, then that, and you go, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah. And then you can make that change.
Nice. So, this is April, Earth Day. Are there any big activities that Clean Valley Council is hosting, promoting?
Yes, we are going to divide and conquer on Saturday. So we are a small staff. There are 4 of us, and 3 of us will be here in the Grandin Village, which is where our offices are located, for the Earth Day Roanoke celebration, which is being put together, and that will happen Saturday from 10 to 3.
Right.
And you'll have a lot of different vendors and presenters. We have a bunch of different topics being presented, including, I alluded to learning how to recycle right. That is one of our programs that's being presented. We have a young woman with RDS who will be speaking about how to recycle right, how to monitor water, and to be a citizen science water quality monitor, so people can learn how to do that. They can learn about the Adopt a Street program and a bunch of other things that we have scheduled for that. So that'll be here in the Grandin Village from 10 until 3.
Okay.
And then I myself will be up at the zoo for Party for the Planet, which is an event that they are holding. And what we're doing up there is we've got some crafts for kids to learn a little more about the environment. And also we'll be presenting, we have 2 local artists who have been working diligently, and I've seen a lot of their in-process sculptures. So they're making sculptures out of plastic, out of found plastic specifically. So we have a lady named Jane Gabriel who is putting together an owl, and Catherine Devine is making a wolf. And so both of those will be unveiled at the Party for the Planet up on the mountain.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well,
I'm excited to see those.
Yeah, well, depending on when you're actually listening to the show, if you're listening to it, live on WFIR, then these events will already have passed. But these are also organizations: Clean Valley Council, Mill Mountain Zoo, LEAP, which is the organization that is helping coordinate the Grandin Farmers Market Earth Day celebration. I mean, they're doing work throughout the year, so I would encourage you to to connect with them.
And our cleanup events are another way that people can get involved. So with, as I mentioned, going out to pick up litter, we have special events. In fact, we just had one earlier this month called Clean Valley Day. But you don't have to wait for a special reason to go out and clean up litter. So we make supplies available to people anytime. We have something called Anytime Cleanup. And it's a couple of bags, a couple of pairs of gloves, and some instructions. And all you have to do is either run over to Roanoke Mountain Adventures or to the Blue Cow Ice Cream Company, which is a huge imposition, to have to go to the ice cream place. But you can pick up, they have supplies there for people to go out and do any kind of cleanup. And it just shows them how to report then, so you don't have to wait for a special day like Earth Day or a special event like Clean Valley Day. You can clean up anytime.
Yeah, ideally every day is Earth Day, right?
It is. That's exactly right. And we do have some Adopt a Street folks that go out probably once a week, if not more often.
Okay.
And do trash cleanups. We have the Roanoke Blockers are one of our most dedicated groups of cleanup, and they meet up to walk and pick up trash, and that's what they do.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So, yeah.
Well, to better connect with you guys, people who are tuning in, where should they go website-wise?
We are at cleanvalley.org, and we're also available on all the socials, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even LinkedIn, where you can find us there.
At Clean Valley, I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
Or Clean Valley Council. It just depends on which you can find us on there. We're pretty easy to find.
But your website, again, is cleanvalley.org.
Correct.
Well, full disclosure, I'm actually parked after having gone to our county dump. I live in Montgomery County, and where we live, we don't have trash pickup, so we have to haul it to the dump. But we do have a single stream recycling for all sorts of things. So I just did that, and now I'm looking out my car where I'm parked, and I see a face mask discarded on the ground. I'm sure
everywhere.
They are everywhere. But you have inspired me. I need to get out there. I need to go pick it up. So, Dina, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And appreciate all the work that you guys do, keeping it clean.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Okay, and now that we have Earth Day interviews set aside, it's time for my favorite part of the show, as always, and that is hearing from Carrie Cousins and her No Budget Marketing Minute, which I believe is Earth Day themed.
It's Earth Day related.
Love it. Okay.
So one of the things I encourage all nonprofits to do is to include a statement or page on your website where you talk about any sustainability or green efforts that you participate in.
Okay.
This corporate responsibility statement or goal can go a long way to encourage your donors or people who are looking for interest in your organization to glom on to something else that you do. You do not have to be a conservation-based nonprofit to have some sort of green in your mission statement.
Okay.
So it might be something as simple as we recycle everything we can. We partner with other sustainable organizations. It's figuring out what your piece is in protecting Mother Earth and promoting that as well as everything else that you do.
So it may be something along the lines of maybe there's a nonprofit that provides meals for the homeless. Perhaps the excess food that they have either gets donated to another organization or gets composted.
And I think of something like the co-op, right? Every time you go to the register in the co-op, you can round up your change to the next dollar, and that goes to a nonprofit organization. Well, it's green because I didn't print a receipt, right?
Sure.
And I'm helping somebody else, and I'm promoting all of that at once. It has nothing to do with the co-op itself, but it all is part of this cycle of helping others, putting that out there that you're doing it, and what the impact of that is.
That's excellent suggestion here for Earth Day. And again, the cost of actually just creating another page on your website to promote all of this?
Absolutely free.
Absolutely free. So wonderful suggestion here on Earth Day to just promote your organization's sustainability and conservation efforts. Love
and
it.
if you don't have anything in mind, maybe it's time to go back to your board and say, do we want to add a statement to our mission statement, our vision statement, that is a conservation and sustainability statement?
Fabulous. Well, Thank you so much, Carrie, for these wonderful suggestions, and happy Earth Day to you.
Happy Earth Day to you. And thank you, everybody, for listening in today at Buzz for Good on WFIR. You can find us online at buzzforgood.com, as well as on all the different social media networks. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. We'll see you there.